If you are not ambitious, you would accomplish all of your goals. Unfortunately, you suck at not being lazy. No offense here. But I got some good news and some bad news for you. The good news is that I came up with a solution that has allowed me to work this much on my goals. I'll put a screenshot here. Sadly, the bad news is that without this video, you'll continue to watch 10-20 other videos that will take you nowhere, and you'll continue to doom scroll or procrastinate or watch porn or any of that stuff, never actually achieving your goals. So make sure to watch till the end, because after this video, you will never have to deal with laziness ever again. So there are two cases of laziness. The first case is that you are ambitious about the goals that you really don't want to achieve. I'll elaborate later, but basically what I mean is that you have taken the goals that are set by your society, other people in your life that are not your own, and you're chasing them. So that's the first case. Or the second case is that you actually have decided what you want to do, and you have a set of goals that you want to do, but like you have got a big list of bad draining habits like doom scrolling or procrastinating or watching porn or some other form of addiction or whatever, and that basically does not let you achieve your goals. Now, even if you fall in either of these categories, I recommend you to watch the complete video, because like that you will make sure that you don't miss out on any information and you get the complete picture of the things. Case one, that is you are chasing goals, or basically you have goals that you don't want to achieve, or but you don't really know that you don't want to do them, but it's like a bad cycle. Let me explain. So if you fall in this case where you are ambitious about things that you're really not interested in, all right, you are very lucky, because figuring this thing out is the elephant in the room. Once you figure this out, everything else kind of just falls in place, because if you're just going to do something that you really want to do, the chances of you procrastinating on that thing and not doing that thing is very less, even if you compared to if you would forced to do something that you don't want to do. So that is why if you just figure this thing out, that what it is that you want to do, it will get a lot easier to quit all of the bad things that you have got. So the way to solve this is I'm going to give you a few list of steps that if you follow, you will have this thing figured out, because I have actually done it, and that's why I'm sharing it. Firstly, what you need to do is that you need to make a list of all the things that you aspire to do, all right, or basically the things that you're pursuing, all right, basically that's what I mean. So you can do this digitally, you can write it with a pen or pencil, whatever you prefer. I personally did it in Google Docs because I don't like to write. My handwriting is a bit bad, and seeing that it's not good, so I just like to do things digitally. But yeah, just make a list of all the things that you aspire to do. For me, it was business. It was moving out of the country that I currently am in. That is one goal I have. I wanted to move out of the country that I'm currently in. I had to get good marks, because the easiest and the most legally feasible way for me to get out of this country was to go get admission in some form of college or university in that country where I want to go. That'll kind of ensure that I legally become the citizen of that country, the quickest way that is there. So that is why I need to get good marks, and also so these are things that I aspire to do. But do I really want to study, or do I really like to study? No, I don't like to study. I don't like the the modern education system. It's complete BS. We all know that. But since I have got this goal of having to I have to go out of the country, I need to do that. All right. So this is one example I gave from my case. So think of all of these sort of things. It will take a bit of time. It will take about an hour or so, I guess. It took something like that for me. And once you have that thing figured out, break down how many you really and actually want. Something that you just find pleasure doing. All right. Now I don't mean the bad things. I mean the good things. What is something that you just enjoy doing solely because of the thing, not because you are going to get chocolate or something like that. That is very dumb, but whatever. Just the pleasure of the task is the pleasure that you get, because that if you can find something that you just do for the pleasure of doing it, that is the thing that you want to be doing always, for the rest of your life. So for me, that is business and anything surrounding my business. All right. So for example, making YouTube videos, this is something that falls under the category of business, not exactly business, but I like content creation. I like creating things in general. I have made a few games earlier. I also tried making music. So I like to be a producer. I like to keep making things. I also made an app, by the way. This is just a side note. But as you would expect, when you make a new app, you initially think, oh, it's gonna get down lots of downloads and stuff, but that does not happen. To get that level of downloads, you either need to have advertising budget, or you either need to have a big large audience who will play that app or use that app. So I made a personal finance manager, it's still available on the Google Play Store by the way. But I'm not trying to promote it, I'm just like telling what did I do. But it got like 10 downloads, and that's also, I had like personally shared the app on Reddit for like testing and everything. So it like literally got no organic downloads. That was because I didn't have money to spend on advertising, and at the same time no one knew me. So why would anyone download my app? So like things, anything surrounding like my business side of things, I like to do that. So you need to like figure out what you really like to do. So for me, that has always been business. Like that has been one thing that I have always liked, and anything surrounding the proximity of business, for example content creation, or things like that in general, or for example reading psychology books for that matter, or reading business books, like these are the things that I enjoy. So you need to figure that one thing that you like to do just for the sake of doing it. That is it. Like if you can find that thing, you just need to do that thing for the rest of your life. Now this is something I know you might have heard many times, but the way I did it is a bit different. Not because I'm saying, but because like it worked for me, and like it kind of made clear as to what I want to do. Because last year I was like pretty lost, probably where you are right now if you're watching this video. I was very lost. I was confused as to what I should be doing, and that is because I was doing things that I didn't want to do, but everyone around me was doing, and so I got kind of like influenced by it. I was like, okay, so everyone's doing it, that means to like fit in, I need to do those things as well. But that's not how you work. Everyone has their own thing. So I made this app that I told you, right, this personal finance manager. This is not because I was really into coding or anything, but because everybody around me was talking about coding and everything, and I did make it. But like now what you need to do is you need to think and write down the things. I've got a note here, by the way. You cannot expect me to make such a long video without looking at it. I've just got notes in Obsidian and I'm using that. So you need to think and write down all the things that interest you, right? So for me, that was business, that was content creation, that was making things, that was like producing things. Yeah, so after you are done writing down all of your interests, you can draw sort of like intersection of circles. But what I basically did, I used Google Notes. I listed this thing like what really interests me, and then like a bulleted list of that. And then the second thing that you need to do is think and write down the things that the world needs. Now there are a lot of things that the world needs, for example coal, petroleum and all those things, but I don't mean in that sense. Like what does the world need? Like how can you do something, all right, that the world needs, something like that. For example, content creation or like good YouTube videos is something that the world needs. So that is one thing that the world needs in my case. Then for example businesses, a world needs good businesses. Now that's a bit of a vague idea, but like you basically need to think of the things that you can do and that the world needs. It cannot be something like the world needs coal and petroleum, because you cannot really do anything about that. So you need to list down all the things that you can do to contribute to the world, and that is something that actually the world needs, not something that you just assume or anything. The world actually has to need that, all right? And then what you need to do is you need to write down all of the things that can make you money. All right, for example, content creation can make you money, business of course can make you money. Then there are other things like, for example, writing books can make you money, for example. So yeah, you need to like come up with all of these things, and then you need to find the things that like overlap in all of this. There are certain combination of two things that you can do. For example, if something that you really want and it is something that can make you money, you can do that, because eventually you will like develop the interest. And same goes for that. If you really are interested in that, and if you can make money from it and you start making from it, then it will eventually become something that you really want. Of course, the ideal scenario is that you get something that is like present in all of these things, and you take that and you basically do that and enjoy doing it. And I don't think you'll ever have to regret or procrastinate after you start doing this. Of course, there will be times when you get lazy, and one thing that I would like to add is, initially nothing is like very, very pleasurable. Like for example, I like making videos, so I'm making them, but it's not something that I really, really want to do right now. Like for example, I could be watching a movie or something. I don't really like watching movies, but like something like watching YouTube or playing some games or something like that. So it's not something that I really, really want to do right now. Yeah, I do want to do it because I know it's important for my business and I'm interested in doing it, and like very good for my future, and it's very conducive compared to watching a YouTube or something. But if given the option, the easiest option or the easiest thing for me to do right now is not make YouTube videos. It demands effort. It demands me speaking in front of a camera. it demands, me having to put effort. I'm like, I have already written the like context and the scripts and everything, and I'm speaking, so it is requiring energy from me. And in return, of course, I'm having fun, so I'm doing it, but I'm not getting like, the pleasure that you would get from watching YouTube, or eating something like an ice cream or something. Get the point, right? So that is my point here. Initially, you are not going to like, do it, oh my god, I'm doing it, I'm really having it. Doesn't happen like that. Once you start and get better at things, you'll automatically like start liking it. And plus, once you start making money, the money factor kicks in, and like it like goes on like a loop, and you're going to love it after that. Now what you need to do is you need to develop a plan to accomplish the intersection that you have selected. You need to like transform that intersection into a sort of a goal, and you need to develop a first principle plan of that goal. You basically need to reverse engineer that goal. All right, I'll make a full video on this soon, but basically you need to just break that goal from first principles, and you need to reverse engineer it. I'll make a separate video on that soon, because properly planning is something that most people fail, and most people don't do it properly because they just have a goal and they think achieving that thing requires luck, where it's not really luck. It does luck, but it's just some form of luck. If you just do everything properly, luck just magically happens. So you just need to plan in a certain way to like. Okay, so now moving on to case 2. As I said, okay, so the thing is, solving this is, now you might be doing like those bad habits, and you might be thinking that getting them out of your life is like pretty difficult or something. But the thing is that he who has a why can bear anyhow, is what Friedrich Nietzsche said. And in most cases, if you're having issues with this thing, that you're having bad habits and you're procrastinating, in most cases you haven't got the foundations set up correctly. Basically, like, you have not really done the first thing that I said. Like, you need to figure out something that you really want to do. If you have really like done that properly, then this problem, I'm not saying it will not completely exist, but it will not exist to that level where you are not doing any work and like it's really hurting your progress. Yeah, it will sometimes, because it's by human nature that you want to do the easiest thing that is possible to do out there. But if you do the first thing properly, that you really select something that you really want. This is not something like, for example, as I said earlier, business content creation is the thing that I really want to do. So, but it's not the easiest thing. As I said earlier, it's not the easiest thing that for me to do right now. I could be watching YouTube, I could be eating ice cream or anything like that, but I'm not doing those things because I didn't want to. I wanted to make videos, right? I don't want, and it was not very big of a problem for me to sacrifice that, because I really like doing it. All right, so in most cases, yeah, of course, when you're tired, and sometimes it will happen that you procrastinate and you don't do it. But in most cases, if you like doing it to such extent that it's hurting your progress towards your goal, then that basically means you have not done the first thing properly. Either way, you don't do bad habits to gratify yourself. Porn, video games, drugs, or any other form of dopamine that you do is not something that you really crave. What you are really trying to do is fill a void inside of you. A void of rejection, a void of ignorance, a void of failure, or anything like that. You're trying to fill that void. This is basically known as the undiscovered self. Now, this is something that demands a full video on its own. This is something that I have learned after studying Carl Jung, and I will make a dedicated video on this, but I don't want to keep everything for a dedicated video. I would like to talk about it here as well, because it's very important. And if you basically understand this, if you understand how this thing works, this thing, the bad habits that you have, they are never going to be a problem for you. So this, what is the void that I was talking about, this void, what do you want to call it, this is basically known as the undiscovered self, as I said earlier. All right, and to bring it into your awareness, you need to do something called integration. Now, how do you do integration is something that I'll make a video later on. All right, that demands again a full video on its own. And secondly, if you really want to do, like, just after this video, you can just search Carl Jung integration. And personally, I also learned it online, like how to do integration. Like, I learned about the concept from Carl Jung's book, but I haven't like got the time. I didn't get the time to like read from him like how do you do it. So I just searched a Medium article, and it was pretty good, pretty detailed, and I kind of understood how to do it, and then I did it, and it has worked. So you can get it online as well. Just I would recommend reading on Medium, because I think there are very good people on Medium who are actually like professionals, and they can like they write really good stuff. So if you're reading from people who actually know what they're talking about, then it'll be very good. So then you'll be able to do it properly. So yeah, so I'll basically tell you in a like sort of a nutshell how you do it, and so that you have an action step right after this video to follow. So the first thing that you do is observe your thoughts and your behavior while you're doing the thing, right? So I know this sounds a bit weird because whenever you are doing whatever bad habit that you do, it's kind of like autopilot that you get something thought and you like pick up the phone or light the cigar or something, whatever, and you start doing it. But it's not that difficult. Yeah, you will have some problem maybe 1 or 2 times, but after you get habituated to like doing it, then it's very easy. What you need to do is while doing it, just see your thoughts. Like, let's say you're scrolling on Instagram. All right, now it is something that happens kind of like on autopilot, but while scrolling, just keep thinking about what you're thinking. Try to observe your thoughts. All right, try to see what your brain is trying to make you think. All right, this is a bit difficult to do, but just requires a bit of attention and a bit of practice. If you can do that, this will change your life, literally. After you do that, you need to write them down. All right, now again, it's your choice if you prefer like paper or something. I again use Google Docs to do it, and you need to write all of your thoughts down. All right, write whatever's going on in your head. Like, just start with adjectives. It doesn't have to be very detailed or anything. Just the words or just the things, something that you can understand as to what they remind you of. Something like that. Now, all of the things that you have listed, or not for all, not for each one. I wouldn't like say for each one because that will get a bit tedious. But at least in general, just think about pick themes when you write like everything down. So you will have themes. For example, something can be about some thoughts can be about, let's say, your future. Some thoughts can be about your ex-girlfriend. Some thoughts can be about your parents. So you'll see regarding themes there. All right, so take the themes, all right, take the categories that the thoughts or whatever fall into, and break that. Like, ask why 5 times. You need to break that down from first principle. Like, for example, let's say you had a thought about going to a birthday party tomorrow. All right, let's say it's a friend's birthday party, and while scrolling on Instagram, your brain is trying to process that, right? So ask why. Why is my brain trying to give me this thought while scrolling on Instagram? All right, and you might come up with an answer as to, because I want to maintain my friendship. Well, why do you want to maintain your friendship? Because I want to have friends. Why do you want to have friends? Because I don't want to be lonely. Why do you don't want to be lonely? Now, it gets deeper and deeper, and gets very layers deep. And I gave you a very superficial example, like friend's birthday, but it's not. People brain generally doesn't like to think that deep sort of things while doing. It's very basic stuff. For example, what food you're gonna eat, or what dress you're gonna wear, or some past cringe memories that you have had. All these things. So you need to like take those things and keep thinking as to why is my brain trying to like make me think this or giving me this sort of information at this point of time. And just ask 5 times. Ask why 5 times. Like, you can go more, but 5 times is like the basic. If you do it 5 times properly, you will get the like core fundamental reason behind it. So just do it 5 times, all right? And once you do that, you will have successfully traced your trauma. Now, I don't know if trauma is the proper word to use there, but basically you will have traced the foundations of it, traced the first principle of that particular chain of thought. And one thing that I would like to mention is that you will have immense resistance. Like, after this video, your brain might convince you, oh no, whatever he's saying is bullshit, and who is he to like teach on this topic, and blah blah blah. By the way, to convince your brain, I'll give you some proof as well. A few years back during lockdown, my screen time on my phone was 6 to 8 hours, and right now my screen time is this. I like put a screenshot here. So I barely use my phone, and that is also just because I have been I cannot make my phone calls. So on anything else, so I need my phone to just make phone calls. Like, that's all the thing that I just do on it. Just make phone calls. That's it. I don't do anything else. So yeah, you can use this reason to convince your brain, by the way, to let you do it. But see, you are going to face immense resistance because the key to destruction is awareness. And your brain knows that once you get aware of this thing, you're going to destroy it. All right. So you will face resistance. You will not want to do it. Your brain will come up with reasons that are absolutely absurd and will try to convince you to not do it. But you must not fall into that trap, because if you do, your that undiscovered self, or what you want to call it, that will stay hidden. That will not come to the light. And if you cannot see the enemy, how are you going to destroy it? Right? So to destroy the enemy, you need to see it. And as to, if you're wondering how long is it going to take, it's not going to take you a day. It's not going to take you a week or anything like that. It's just going to take you 1 to 2 hours. If you do sit down and do some deep work, it will take you 1 to 2 hours, not more than that. It took me about, I think, somewhere about 1 hour and 30 minutes, something around that, 90 to 100 minutes, something like that. If you just do that properly, just sit down, no distractions, in a room alone, it will not take you more than that. You can get it done. And doing that, after that process of integration that you do, it is going to be so lightened. Your brain is going to feel so, like, I don't know how to explain it, but I personally felt as if there were like hundreds of kilos of weight that my brain was carrying, and it just got released. It feels like that. So I know this sounds a bit absurd, But try doing it and you'll understand what I'm trying to say actually. Since you watched till here, make sure to comment integration so that I can know that you did, and also because to confuse other people who didn't watch till here. Alright. Now I understand that you might be thinking, okay, but how do I develop a plan and follow all my goals? Because well, that's why we're doing it, right? Well, that's what I talked about in this video. See you there.